So the business plan on this one was to renovate the interiors, because I feel like that's where you get the most bang for your buck. Curb appeal is nice, and making sure the property is structurally sound, along with, you know, not having any leaks or anything like that. But the real value add to a property is in the interiors, because that's where people are going to be living, and that's what they pay for. So that's where I, saw the biggest opportunity on this property. The interior, as they were not great by any stretch of the imagination. The landlord hadn't taken best care of the property. So the goal is to renovate all the units, get them really nice, and get some good quality tenants in that are paying top dollar. And obviously with that, you have to give them something that they're willing to pay for. So that's I understood that. I obviously had done my market research, done some rental comp analysis, and just kind of seen what was going on in the area and along with the street. It's a great looking street. So I thought that with doing the interiors and making the property really nice, that we would attract that good quality tenant that was paying a good amount. Now with the interiors, what we're planning to do is to redo the kitchens, brand new kitchen, rip out all the kitchens and put all the kitchen cabinets, and put brand new kitchen cabinets, and put in granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and vinyl plank flooring, so that really they'll look like a brand new kitchen. Some of the units, they back out to the back. They have back doors and a little balcony, so we're going to put new doors in there as well, because those doors had seen better days as well. And then also redo the bathrooms. The bathrooms were quite rough on most of them as well. And obviously, a nice bathroom is very important to a lot of people, I think. So with that, we would either refurbish the bathtub or replace it, put in new tile, new vanity, new flooring, and a new toilet if it needed. Some toilets needed replacing, some didn't. And then in the living area and the bedrooms, where we could, we would redo the original hardwood floor if it was salvageable. Sometimes it wasn't, but the goal was to have those floors looking nice. So where it's not salvageable, we would put new flooring in, and if we can, we'll just sand it and stain it so it'll look great, with that original hardwood floor. And then throughout, also all the units, they all needed paint. The old paint didn't look too great, so that's an easy fix, is just to paint them. We went with grey. We decided that grey was the color that we were going to paint them. So and we would go with the dark wood, hardwood looking vinyl plank. Sorry. So that seems like a good combination. It's quite popular right now. So with that, the units, when they're finished, should look almost like brand new units, and they'll look great. And like I said, with that historical feel of the property, it'll have a lot of charm as well. Another part of the business plan was to look after the expenses. So obviously there's two ways you can really affect the NOI and the cash flow, and that's to increase your income, but also to lower your expenses. Now the issue with this one was, or the challenge was, that I didn't know what the previous owner's expenses were. He didn't keep any records. It wasn't that he kept bad records, he didn't keep any records whatsoever. So I had no knowledge of how he ran it and what the previous expenses were. When I was underwriting it, I had to underwrite it to how I thought I would be running the property. So in regards to the expenses, I'll be trying to keep them low. rather than lower them. As I mentioned, I don't know what they were to be able to lower them, but the idea is to keep them as low as possible. So there's a few things: LED lighting, low flow showers, 1 gallon toilet. So all these things, they save you a bit of money on water and electricity, so that can help, as well as with the management company making sure that everything, there's a tight ship, that all fixes need to be made, that everything is done in a timely manner, but also that that there's no unnecessary extra work being done, that everything's, we're only doing what needs to be done. Obviously, I want the property to be kept in good order and for the tenants to have a great place to live, but you've got to keep a track on your expenses from that point of view, otherwise they can get out of hand. So yeah, that's definitely something that we'll be keeping an eye on, is the expenses, and trying to keep control of that and maintain it and keep it at a certain level. Something else that needed to be done that's similar to the interior renovations is the hallways. All the hallways they needed paint, new flooring, and on the stairs, the railings needed to be repainted. So we're going to do that so that when people walk in, it feels homely, it feels nice, it feels clean, and it feels like a good place to live. I also wanted to create some curb appeal. The property needed some tender, loving care. It had been neglected quite a bit, so we're going to put some new guttering on the front, paint there's a little porch area up front, so we're going to repaint the flooring of that. There's some railings there as well. We're going to replace the ones that are broken, and paint the rest, as well as maybe putting some nice chairs out there so that the tenants have somewhere to sit, maybe some rocking chairs or a little swinging chair or something like that, along with doing a little bit of landscaping. Nothing, but should probably just put some mulch down at the front, again, to make it look nice, and paint. There's some brickwork out the front, some brick pillars, so paint those. All in all, should be quite inexpensive, but at the same time, has that curb appeal, so when prospective tenants turn up, they see a nice, clean looking property, and obviously when they get into the units, hopefully they'll love that and think that it's a great place to live. There is no return on that necessarily. When you calculate in a lot of this stuff, you've got to calculate your ROI. So I was trying to figure out if I should put granite in, if I should put stainless steel in, and when you're looking at that, you've got to look at what your ROI is, right? The numbers tell you what to do. It's as simple as that. It's not discretionary really at all. You've got to understand how much more you can get for granite and how much that granite is going to cost you. Now, if you get a good return on investment on that granite, well, it makes every sense in the world to put that. Now, with the curb appeal and things on the outside, you don't necessarily get the same ROI. You can't say if I do this and this to the outside that I'm going to get a $50 rent bump. It doesn't quite work like that. But it is very important, because obviously you have to get tenants in through the door, and you have to provide a great place for them to live. That's one of the most important things, and that's where you provide value to the tenants, and in return they pay you a good amount in rent. So when they turn up, I think it's important that they turn up to a place that they like, that they instantly see, because a lot of people, it's true, like you don't get a second chance to make a first impression, right? If they see the property and the guttering's broken, and there's railings that are broken, and it just looks rough from the outside, it doesn't give you that good feel from the start. So I think it's important to do that, and it's we can do it quite inexpensively, and it does add value to the property. Something else that I've done with this property that wasn't there already is add washer dryer. So we're going to add washer dryer hookups to the units, so that they all have their washer dryers in the unit. There's currently one in the basement, but the basement isn't really easily accessible. It's okay, But again, with trying to provide a better place for these tenants to live and trying to appeal to a higher class of tenants, we thought it was important to put in washer dryers in the units, because also there is a direct ROI on that. You can charge more in rent. So not only is it more appealing, but you can actually charge more in rent for those. So again, that was a case of digging into the numbers and seeing how much more we can get for rent as opposed to how much it'll cost. So we're going to put in washer dryers in all the units, which I think is a nice amenity for the tenants to have. Not that many competing properties around the area have that, so that gives us a bit of an advantage there when we come to lease up. So it's again just simple things, but they provide the tenants with just a great place to live. I really believe it's as easy as that. The better the place you provide for them to live, the more you're going to be compensated in rent. So we have those washer dryers as well. Something else I'm considering, again, something that doesn't have a direct ROI, is putting security cameras in. It's a good area. There's not much crime in the area. There's a little more than I'd like. There's one property that kind of brings down the area, but apart from that, it's quite a safe area. But I thought adding security cameras would just give the tenants that added security feel and vibe. Along with, me being out of state, I can kind of check if I wanted to every now and again, kind of take a look at the security cameras and see what's going on there. And something else that, along with the security cameras that we're considering, is putting in Wi-Fi. Now, I think Wi-Fi is quite inexpensive, and as we're appealing to young professionals, that's kind of the client base that I'd like to get in there. I think having free good Wi-Fi would be inexpensive and would be a good amenity. So that's something we're considering. We'll see when it gets closer to lease up whether we do that. It's quite an easy thing to set up. So that's something we're considering. So with a business plan, I think as with any business plan in terms of real estate, it's important to consider your exit strategy. And with this one, there's going to be a few options. Simply one, I can just do the renovations, lease it up, and then just sit back and cash flow the money from that and just enjoy that cash flow, even though I hopefully will have created a good amount of appreciation. The second option is to refinance, again, because I think I'll have created a good amount of equity at the end, once everything is done, once all the units have been renovated and the rent is at what it should be, or what we think it should be. Could refinance, do a cash out refinance, so I can pull out however amount, with the equity that I built up, I can pull a good amount. I can pull a good amount of money out and take that money, and of course it'll still need to be cash flowing, but take that money out and reinvest it in another deal. The beauty of a cash out refinance, it for those people that don't know, is it's completely tax free. So whatever money I would pull out, I wouldn't be paying any taxes on it. So that would be nice. So that's the second option. And the third option is to sell. So to take that equity and take all of it, and then obviously with that I would be looking to do a 1031 exchange. So I don't know if everyone's familiar with that. 1031 exchange is where you defer the taxes. So I would not be paying any taxes on that. Now that has its own challenges and its limitations, but I could sell and scale into something bigger. So there's a few different exit strategies, and I think that's very important with any property, that doesn't matter what happens, I can hold on to it and cash flow, or refinance and take that cash out, or thirdly I can sell and move on to something bigger. So that's kind of my business plan in a nutshell. Business plans are great, but it's different, when you're actually in there doing it. So I think Mike Tyson had a quote: everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So hopefully I don't get punched too hard in the face, but yeah, that's definitely my business plan.